Hi, I'm Joey Heneghan, agronomist with Beck's Hybrids in Wisconsin. Here at the end of April, we've started with planting across many parts of the state, but widespread rain the last few days has most areas on pause right now. Planting conditions were really good last week. We had surprisingly dry soil everywhere I looked, and we also had soil temperatures that really did get into the 50s at that 2-inch depth. So with that, actually most of the Wisconsin PFR trials did get planted late last week. Here's a quick view from the tractor cab of that. Here we are, putting in our planter settings emissions trial right now. Planting well, and we're also mimicking some forward planting. Stay tuned for what results we get. We're just wrapping up the planter settings study. Here we have the map almost all filled out. We've got the intentionally damaged seed discs in the planter right now that make us have poor singulation as well as some skips and doubles. So with this, we can test to see just how important that singulation, those skips, and those doubles really are. So that's just the last treatment in this planter settings study. We're looking forward to sharing what we're seeing in these trials throughout the season, as well as the final results after harvest. For any planting that got done last week, I do expect those seeds are off to a good start. They were planted into good moisture and had a good first 48 hours in the soil. With that, here are a few things to keep an eye on going forward. It takes about 120 heat units for corn to emerge and about 130 for soybeans. The current forecast has lows for the next 10 days in that 50-degree range and highs only in the 60s to maybe 70. That forecast will only give us about 5 to 10 heat units per day. So to hit that 120 to 130 heat units, we're probably looking at 14 days or more for emergence for either crop. Now, crusted soil is less of a concern during the first half of May, that current time frame we're working with, but definitely keep an eye out for it because we have had some pounding rains either last night, the day before, or going forward, and hard to predict what we'll get over the next 10 days in terms of rainfall and how hard it falls. On the soybean front, watch out for any browning or damage from the soybean pre-herbicides, particularly those that include a soil-active PPO like flumioxazin or sulfentrazone. It's most common under cool conditions as those cotyledons are pulling through the soil surface for that damage to occur. These chemistries are very effective when it rains, something we learned last year when it didn't rain and they didn't work as well. But when we get good rain, they're very effective, but they do occasionally cause some visible damage to the beans. It is rarely enough to warrant any action. There's rarely any replant needed for this, especially if it has rained more than once between planting and emergence. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully get good weed control from those chemistries and get off to a great start from that. On the corn front, the tip of the corn seedling, known as the coleoptile tip, it must emerge undamaged or will start to unfurl underground, called leafing out underground. This is a lot more common when we get a cold spell right as that tip gets near the soil surface, but can also be caused by crust when you have warm conditions. So watch out for that. I don't expect that to be a big issue right now, but definitely something to keep an eye on again with potentially crusted soils from pounding rains. Also, if you have a strong rate of any HPPD, the bleacher herbicides, the group 27s on your cornfields, it is possible under these cooler conditions as they emerge, or they're very small, VE to V1 seedlings, you may see some yellow or even fully white corn plants if it turns cool for a few days after or during emergence. These chemistries need to be metabolized by the corn plant, and when it gets cold, that metabolism of the corn plant simply can't quite keep up with metabolizing those chemistries. So if you see some yellow or very yellow to white corn plants, that's likely what's going on. It's not ideal to have this happen. It's definitely not great for the corn plant, but again, it rarely causes any stand loss or any reason to take action. That's just sometimes a trade-off of some of these good chemistries and the weed control they provide us when it gets cool, like we oftentimes work with here in the northern corn belt. So if you have any questions on those or any issues you want us to take a look at, by all means, please reach out, let us know. But with that, I want you to have a great week, and please be safe and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.